My beautiful souls, welcome back or welcome to The Hawk and I. My name is Lana Zelinsky, and I work in the spirit dimensions. As always, in all my videos or my live feeds, simply take what resonates, and you're welcome to leave the rest right here. I know it's all of a sudden I'm here on a YouTube live. As I mentioned on Friday, I have a dentist appointment Monday morning, so I will not be here Monday. And the schedule for me today has things have been randomly popping up. So I wasn't able to post on the community page ahead of time when I was coming on because it's been a day of going with the flow. It's actually been a weekend of going with the flow for me as things kind of been coming at me. And it's all good. It's all great things. It's just been a bit of a surprise weekend. Hello there, and good to see all you coming in. So I'm first going to dive into what next, or well, starting today, I guess Sunday is technically the start of a week, what we're going to be kind of working through and feeling through. And it had me kind of pondering a little bit this morning with, this is going to be an interesting week ahead. Um, being open to listen differently is coming at us, and being open to listen from that heart space is going to be coming at us. There's a level of a new emotion. Last week was very emotional, and we've got a new emotion kind of coming in, and it's going to be speaking more of an energy versus words. And some people, including yourself, may have a difficult time um, understanding what people are trying to communicate. So with that, if you're faced with that, with like this just doesn't their words aren't matching with their energy, lean into the energy. Sometimes as humans, we have trouble speaking the words, and not everybody can go to that heart space. So energy is going to be very loud this week from other people, and including your own, and kind of stepping into that. Okay, what are they saying? Because sometimes energy can feel very different than words, and in glorious ways too. I mean, just practice saying a word, saying it without feeling the energy, right? So if you were to say, I love you, and then you go to your heart space and tap into more of the energy behind the word and saying it and feeling the energy, that takes a little bit of practice that sometimes people haven't had that experience. So energy is going to be coming at you this week from the heart space from other people and how they really feel. And sometimes how they really feel may not always be fuzzy bunny kind of energy, but being able to listen, be open to listen differently this upcoming week. And even with yourself, feel into your own energy on how you feel about things. How do I really feel about that? Listen to your higher self, listen to your intuition from a different perspective. Now, the other thing that came up is there's going to be, this is how spirit gave it to me, was this ready to be raw with it, ready to say, okay, I'm gonna feel that, I'm gonna navigate through it, I'm gonna work with it, being ready to be raw and supporting your own growth through that, ready to be raw and ready to feel the energy. People come to teach us things, and we come to teach other people things, and that's what the momentum of the week is coming in now. Heart healing is always on the table. It's always on the table. Right? We're always healing. I say that a lot. But I feel like this week, with feeling the energy and tapping into that, there is like this boldness with that. There's like a bold heart healing, that feeling stronger from that heart space. All that work you've been doing, for the last, whether it be days, weeks, months, years, I feel like there's a strength in that boldness in that. I promise I will get to the comment section. I don't look at it when I'm talking because it's very distracting because I'm still, even though I'm reading what I channeled, I'm also channeling what I'm while I'm reading. So the other thing that came in with that, with that bold feeling, is heart space confidence. And when I sat with that whole heart space confidence feeling, I was like, how confident are you, or am I, in that heart space, in those words, to listen to the energy rather than the words? Is there a confidence in that? Can I feel? Because sometimes we push back the feeling, right? Well, I push back that feeling, right? We all do it, but there's a heart space confidence energy that's moving in this week. And it's like I had to whisper to myself, be a little bit mindful of fueling that energy. right? So, and what does spirit mean by that? So, the emotional space, the heart space, confidence, energy. Listen before you respond. Just hear somebody out and feel their heart space. Sometimes people come at you. I'll use this as an example. Let's see who's on the feed here that I can use as an example. Um, I'll use Dee Dee as an example because I can see Dee Dee was the first one to comment. So, Dee Dee, I'm just going to use you and I just as a role play as an example. Dee Dee may say something to me, and the words may not match the energy. And if I pause for a minute and feel into the words, or into the energy, I can feel that. Oh my gosh, Dee Dee is trying so hard to help me right now, and she just doesn't know. Like the words aren't aren't as strong as her feelings because she may not be able to have the words, but she has the energy. I feel so supported and loved, and I can feel the kindness in there. Now, if we were to reverse that a little bit, and let's say it wasn't the kindest or the most gentlest energy, and the energy matched that. Don't fuel that. Don't fuel that emotional energy. If you're having a response, note it, but don't fuel it. Come back to the heart space and come back into that heart space confidence and feel the energy. Listen to the energy rather than the words coming from other people. Because sometimes their words may be, the energy may be, I'm really hurting right now, right? It comes back to people have got other stuff going on. And if you can ease into their energy, you'll be able to feel that. And then your own heart space confidence will come out and say, you know what? This isn't my stuff. And I don't have to knee jerk reaction into it. They're having a hard time. And quite often that kind of energy has to be felt. And it's not always words that are exchanged. And sometimes our static with people, even with strangers, not only the people that we know and love, but that can kind of gently kind of bring us back into a whole different space within ourselves, and then we don't absorb what's not ours. So, and when we don't absorb what's not ours, we're able to navigate through stuff at a whole other level. And this is how it felt. It felt like a leveling up with this listening different. It felt like growth in our own spiritual journey to level up above that, to be able to feel it rather than just absorb it, and rather than to feel it in the heart space, rather than just listen to the words. And it's pure growth, and it opens us up to a whole different level spiritually as well, and it opens us up to a whole different level with our spirit guides, with our deceased loved ones. If you're a medium, or if you're doing practicing with mediumship, it will shift that, because when we work with spirit, when we work with our spirit guides, or when we work with people who have crossed, quite often it's the feeling and not necessarily, we don't always hear. So it's a whole big practice that for those of you who are working on your connections, this will also help you. It will help you tap in a whole different space. Now, the other thing that popped up for next week, I just have to have a look at my notes here, is find and hold onto some grounding. So when we ground ourselves, and this was kind of a big, oh yeah, a big aha moment for me too, is hold on to it. Hold on to the grounding feeling throughout the day next week, and kind of work at growing that practice about being able to. Sometimes we get grounded and then we go on with our day and we don't take the grounding energy with us. Try taking the grounding energy with you next week. Start practicing a little bit of that. Start bringing back the feeling of feet on the ground, back against a tree. Even if you can't do it, bring that energy with you. When we bring that feeling, when we find and hold on to the grounding, it helps us with our momentum throughout the day, because life happens, right? Work happens, life happens, people happen, but if we can keep that grounded energy with us next week and keep practicing that, you will become more and more grounded as you go, and it will become less and less of a conscious, oh, I got to bring that grounding energy with me. But if you start practicing that feeling of finding it, what keeps me grounded, and whatever that is for you, whether it just be breathing techniques or looking out a window or feet on the ground. I like to do spiritual practices when it comes to my grounding, but hold it now. Hold it and bring it. Bring it with you. That's now part of you. Being able to blend those practices deeper are coming at us this week in a good way. It's not in a oh my gosh way. I don't feel it as an oh my gosh week. I feel it more of a growth week. I feel that many of us are coming through a lot of our growth and a lot of our healing. And now we're in this new space. And then we're in this new space and we don't know what to do with it. Bring it with you now. Right. So I hope that I'm wording that right. It was a little bit hard for me to kind of put into the words. I had to feel into the energy in order to be able to communicate to you guys this morning here in the community. And are you doing enough grounding work? So, and there's always room for improvement. I'm always practicing improving how I work and how my mediumship works and how I work with spirit and how I am as a human. I'm always working on that. It's always a self-improvement or a continued growth or and sometimes rebuilding. Like sometimes we have to rebuild, right? And that's okay but are you doing enough to keep you grounded? So if you're feeling midday or even early morning or later in the evening that you're struggling with the whole grounding space, increase your grounding. And it can be so quick. It doesn't have to be, I give me 10 minutes while I go ground myself and I'll come back to work. It can be simply be, I'm just going to visualize for a moment my feet on the earth. I'm just going to visualize for a moment. I'm back in my body, right? Because sometimes we pull out of all of that and situations come up and we forget to kind of tap back into those spiritual practices with this whole listen differently and be open. And spirit was like loud with me with my morning meditation on that. Be open to listen differently. And I was like, yeah. And then I sat in that and I was like, yeah. And that's how it kind of felt. It will also bring your relationships with people this week into a different space of alignment. Sometimes we don't communicate with our words that great. Some people, like, I mean, have you have you ever had that chuckle moment with someone where it's like, yeah, they didn't communicate that great, but if I paused and felt their energy and their love, they were doing their best to kind of demonstrate how they felt about you and how much they do love you and they want to help. They just don't have necessarily the words to go with it. So practice that a little bit. It will take some practice to learn how to communicate to learn how to listen openly and differently. But when you do, there is this level up will come, you will feel it. The best that I can describe is you will feel a higher elevation of energy, of your own vibe, and of that person's vibe too, right? So, um, when you feel, I'm going to give you an example too. And I'm trying to think of one. You know how you may think, oh, I haven't heard from Lan in a long time. Is she mad at me? Feel into the energy. Feel how does that person feel? I can feel their busyness. I can feel maybe they're overwhelmed. I can feel maybe they're off doing something. Practice feeling where people are energetically and listen from the feeling. It's the same thing where, if you're having a conversation and someone's not communicating great, feel it. Without absorbing, is it a me issue? Because we always come back to, well, what did I do? Right? Kind of feel it. Feel how they're feeling energetically. It's going to be a week of that. And it's a good thing. Again, I can't emphasize that enough. It's a growth thing about being in, and think about that. If you can communicate and listen differently from a more open space, that's only going to help your relationships with people, whether it helps them grow deeper or if it helps you that you need to go this way and they need to go that way. It will help that process, right? So when feel into it this week. Don't be afraid of the feelings. We're always like, I don't want to feel it. And that's what a lot of my students will say, I don't want to feel it. And it's like, why? Right? Like, just it's a spiritual sense. It's like using your eyes and your ears. Listening from that heart space is a spiritual superpower. It really is a superpower. And it just has the most amazing feeling when you start to practice it. All right, enough of the chit chat. I think they made their point. Bold heart space energy. It's a delicious time. Um, June and July has been a lot of heart space energy, and I love it. And it has a lot to teach us there. I'm gonna scroll up. Okay. Oh, good to see all of you. Wow, I wasn't sure how many would be able to join, being it's a Sunday, no notice. Here I am, kind of alive, but it is what it is. Just wanted to say thank you for the encouraging words on Wednesday last week. They really helped. Positive vibes for the week to everyone. Rachel, I love that, and you're very welcome. And I hope you know how supported you are here and how supported you all are here. It's an amazing community. Hi, Lana. I got to see my foster dog, Emmett, yesterday after he went back and to shelter. I might be picking him up Tuesday if they let me. Did he remember me? He did cry a little. Absolutely. Animals always remember. And I mean, I'm sure some of you have seen some pretty profound videos where, people have reconnected with animals, or, I've seen one of a zookeeper who had left, it wasn't a zookeeper, but what do you call, like a rescue place, and had come back years later. And this, I think it was like a lion, had remembered him after like several years. Absolutely, he remembers, and absolutely, he knows how loved you are. I also feel, matriarch astrology, that I need to say, well done with your telepathic communication with Emmett. I feel like you've been sending him messages, and I feel like he's been returning those messages back to you. I feel like you've been doing animal communication with them, and I'd have to say, well done, you. Good job trusting that. Kayla, hi Lana, thank you for being on here on a Sunday. You're welcome. Bianca, I lost my spot. Jesus, I gotta slow down with them. I get excited and then I scroll the mouse too fast. Question for my sister. A guy named Caleb and her met, but he stopped communicating with her randomly. How does he feel towards her? She's really confused because they got along so well. I feel that this was a moment in time of a teacher and a good time. I feel, obviously with him, stepping back so abruptly and so quickly, that speaks. Right. That speaks. I feel like I have to say it's okay. You know, people need to do what they need to do. The door's open if he ever wants to communicate again, or I think I want to close that door. I have to say that one thing that your sister is learning too right now is how to honor herself. And I feel like this is just a little bit of a lesson in that about honoring yourself. Right. So I just need to say it's all good. She needs to honor herself. And that was something that's being taught here. And sometimes again it comes back down to, I don't feel it was your sister. I feel like, that other person might have a little bit of stuff going on, and that's okay. Heart energy. How does it feel? It feels to me like he's got something going on. Um, I've had a constant migraine for almost a week now, but I have been having difficulty sleeping. Does Spirit have any advice on how to break the cycle? Um, first of all, that's what you said. I know you know this, but I need to say it. If you have any concerns, please see your doctor. I feel that it's more of a tune in with a whole bunch of stuff that's going on with astrology right now. We are in a lot of movement and a lot of change with our astrology, and I feel like this new moon energy that came in has kind of been keeping you awake and affecting those headaches. I feel like I've got to. I'm also very thirsty. Even though you made drinking a lot, I feel like I need to drink some more. I feel like I really feel like my energy waves are thirsty. I need to get a little bit more hydrated. I also feel like I need to close my eyes. I feel like I just need to rest my eyes, and it feels more of an energetic thing than a physical thing. It's not just because you're not sleeping well. I feel like I'm focused too much. I feel like I've got too much pressure on myself. And I feel if I can just close my eyes and kind of navigate a little bit with I know it's gonna sound weird, but I have to give it to you as the house spirit showing me. Just navigate for a moment, closing your eyes and connecting to your spiritual vision. So something as simple as brushing your teeth with your eyes closed, or even like washing your hands with your eyes closed. I mean, obviously don't do things that are dangerous to do with your eyes closed, but I feel like I need to close my eyes and let my senses navigate a little bit. It's almost like you're too much in the physical world, and I've got to bring in some other senses, because that moon energy, and the astrology energy is kind of pulling you a little bit too. So give yourself a break from the physical world a little bit when you can, simply by closing your eyes. Okay. Goddess of happiness. Hello, my dear. I have a class to handle as a teacher, but I'm so stressed out because that organization is so special. Did I do something okay to be? I'm gonna have to read that again. Sorry. I feel you did great to be a part of that. I feel like you're on the right path there. I also feel like I have to say to you, I got to work a little bit on knowing that you're doing a good job. You are good enough. You are valued. I feel like I've got to put some of that back to you, feeling that for yourself. I don't feel wobbly at all at this organization at all. I feel like it's more I got to work on my inner my inner confidence, that space within me that says I'm doing the best I can, and I'm going to continue working hard because I am working hard. I feel like I've got to boost you up a little bit that way with some confidence. Okay, so Joan, do those who have passed missed us? Um, Most comments are how we are loved, but do they miss life here? So, Joan, our loved ones in spirit have a very, very different perspective. And I was a little bit surprised. There's a video on my channel about my own experience with an out of body experience where I literally left and spent some time up there. And I can share from my perspective, and I can also share from what spirit has said to me over years and years and years of channeling and doing mediumship. When I was out of my body looking down and, could see my life below me, I remember, bye. I remember being, I'm not leaving, but I'm so happy to be over in the spirit dimensions. Our loved ones don't miss us because they're here. Our loved ones, they don't miss anything, and they know that we are here completing our journey, and they've got their own journey and their own experiences that they are having over in the spirit dimensions as well. But because they're non-physical, Joan, they're having multiple experiences at the same time. So they can be visiting you, siblings, grandkids. They're non-physical, so they've got that ability. They don't miss life here either. Now, do they know that it's different? Do they know that they're gone? Yeah, absolutely. They know that they're gone, like physically, but not energetically. So it's very different. And I argue with living people and people who have passed. It's an argument all the time because they're like, we're not gone. We've just changed. We've just changed. And for us in the physical world, they're gone since they've died. I'm so alone that they're gone. We don't connect to them the same way that they connect to us. The relationship is just changed. Spirit tells me that all the time. The relationship is just changed. It's not gone. We learn how to communicate with them. We learn a different way, a different type of relationship with them. And they are so ready and so eager to have that with us. That's why they work so hard with spirit science, visitations and dreams. That's why, the channeling can be so, so profound because they haven't missed anything. The relationship is just different. I hope that answered your question, Joan. That is a beautiful question, by the way. Thank you for posting it. Horizon Phoenix, on the phone yesterday with my dad, he mentioned my 90-year-old grandfather with dementia is starting to transition towards passing. Does he have a long time left? I want him happy. We love him. Um, People with Alzheimer's or dementia are in between both worlds. Often. So they're often over in the spirit dimensions, even though they're physically here. And sometimes I can be channeling somebody with dementia, and even though they're living, they're coming through to me as if they've passed because they've figured out how to leave their body. That's why a lot of the times, sometimes it is a medical hallucination, but most of the times they're seeing spirit because they're over there. And because of that ability, it's very similar to the channeling that I do. So when I tap in there, I do feel that I would agree he's preparing to let go and completely go over. I think there's a little bit of time there, but I also feel very much in the moment with it. Like right now he's here, one day at a time. I do feel that he is going to have I'm going to say total control of when he wants to go. I feel like it's going to be okay. I'm going, and it will have more of a quicker feeling to me, even though he's elderly and even though he's got dementia. I feel it's like okay, time to go. But people with cognitive impairment like that feel quite often to me that they're already over there. And it happens a lot in readings. I'll say I'm channeling so and so. I'm really aware of my head. I feel like I got confusion, and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, that's my dad, but he's living," and I can communicate with him just as if he was passed. And it's because they don't have that so much brain power in the way of allowing them to communicate as a soul. It's actually quite fascinating. Okay, Rachel, I've been practicing mediumship. Good for you. On Saturday, I felt my grandmother when I visited my grandfather, sorry, when I visited my mother before he passed. I mentioned I had adopted a dog. He popped in to meet my dog. Good job, Rachel. I love that. And I love your level of trust with that. That's incredible. You didn't ask me to validate that conversation happened. I loved your level of trust. Well done, you. Hi, beautiful Nana and all beautiful souls. Hello, darling. Empress and Spirit. Tropical Empress and Spirit. I love all the handles here. I can't believe I finally caught a live, says Amy. Really stuck in all aspects, financial, spiritual, and direction. Do my guides have anything to tell me? So, Amy, the first thing that's hollered at me is I need, and what they're saying, I don't actually need you to do it, but what they're saying is they're asking you to change the word stuck, right? And I get it, and Spirit brings us up all the time. We're not stuck, right? But wiggle in your chair, like you stand up, stand up. You're not stuck, because sometimes when we go into that stuck, what we do is we're holding ourselves in that space. It's similar to manifesting. So one thing that you can do, if you want to just change the wording slightly, and it's a very powerful energy to change the world or change the wording, is I am learning right now. I'm working through right now. I'm looking for new directions right now, but I'm not stuck, because words and energy are very, very, very powerful, and we don't give that enough credit. The words that we use, because the word stuck has a very powerful energy. So I need you to kind of like shift that a little bit. It'll also change your perspective. I also don't feel like I feel like I'm near the end of that. I feel like I'm shifting out of it. I also feel with the spiritual part of it, when we feel like things aren't happening spiritually, remind yourself that I'm still learning something right now. There's something right now that I need to learn. And as you may not necessarily know what it is, and that's okay, but I'm learning right now. I feel a little bit of that letting go. I feel like that surrender. I feel like that's part of what's happening right now. Is I just have to for the spiritual part, I feel like I just have to work on that letting go and allowing. There's no race in spiritual growth. There's no race. And the direction part, reminding yourself, I'm here learning, and I'm finding my way. It's not a loss feeling for me. It's like I'm changing directions. And when we're changing directions, it has that moment of, okay, let me put it to you this way. This is how Spirit showed me. When you go to a new city, and you've never been there before, and you're looking around, and you've got your GPS, and you're trying to figure out the transit system, or you're trying to navigate in your own vehicle. I don't know where I am, and you're relying on directions. So I've got to get you to navigate through this very similar, only using your own compass, using your own higher self as, okay, I'm not quite sure where I'm going, but I'm going. Right. And I chuckle, Amy, because I have done that myself so many times, as I don't have a freaking clue where I'm going right now, but I know I'm going. So you see how of a different feeling that gives, and it just kind of softens and opens you up a little bit. It doesn't keep you in that closed feeling of I'm lost, I'm lost, I'm lost. No, I'm learning the directions, and it kind of opens up. And then what happens when we open is it brings things to us. When we open and allow, it brings things in. Just think about that for a moment. And I'll just kind of use, if I'm closed up, right? I'm closed. Things can't come to me when I'm closed. If I'm open, and I open up a little bit, I'm learning. I'm gonna trip and fall. I'm finding my way. I don't know where the heck I'm going, but I'm going. The universe can then come and say, okay, let's try this way. But it just has a very different feeling. Now, financial, I feel, like we are all having moments of turbulence based on the physical world with financial. Absolutely. There's less for quite a few. And I feel though that as you move through that, and I do feel that you will, I feel it's going to soften. In the meantime, I feel you're doing very well at managing what you have. I really do feel that. I feel like you've done well on cutting back and a little bit less, finding some free stuff to do versus, and I do that all the time, no matter what. I love to find free stuff, right? Yesterday, I found a free music festival. I went to the Cherry Festival, no admission to get in. And I thought, and I had the best time. I had the best time. And I think that is something that, I just kind of say lean into a little bit more, find some free stuff to do. It will also give you the vibration of fun. And I've been doing that for many, many, many years, because I think I want to support community stuff like that that's free. And then if I choose to buy something from a vendor in there, I can, or I can watch my wallet, right? I'm not going to spend any money today. But if I want to, then I can. It kind of brings you into that space of a little bit more of what you can balance and a little bit less of what, what you can't. I'll just balance or can't control. I'll just leave over here. I hope that that helps, Amy. All right. CM, hey Lana, is there any messages from my wife? I've been trying real tough. I've been having a real tough morning thinking about her and saw that you were live. Thanks either way. Hi, welcome CM. Um, and thanks for posting your question here. I am in a channel. I'm going to tap in here. I'm just getting my channeling position. I guess I just kind of had to move my body for a minute. I just want to get into a little bit of validation. So if I can get the questions from all of you to just pause for a moment, I'm going to scroll down to the bottom and watch for CM's validation of what I'm channeling because I like to know that I'm on the right track here when I'm channeling for someone. So CM, number one, she is showing me the month of October, significant anniversary, birthday, or passing. I'm also in the month of November as a significant time frame. She's doing this. She's grabbing at your hand. She's holding your hand, but I also feel like you hold hers. I'm going to remote view for a moment, CM, and feel free to just add some validation in the comments for me. If I'm standing at the front of your bed, to the right, is there a window? And to the front of the bed, is there a table with something of hers on it? She's also hearing you. She's hearing you. You talk to her a lot, and she's hearing you. I'm also sitting with a couch and it's just a straight couch. I don't feel anything attached to it. A straight couch that faces either a bigger window or a patio door. And I feel like that's a space where you kind of go and just kind of daydream or let go. She sits with you there as well. I also window at the right. I talk to her all day. Yeah, absolutely. And just give me if those months mean anything to you, significant anniversary, birthday, or passing, I'd be grateful. She also puts me in the month of July. As, yeah, I had to have a listen there for a second. I'm also very aware of her chest. If you can tell me how she passed, I'm very aware. I've got a tight feeling here, and I don't know if it's a lung or a heart, but there's something right here in the center of my chest that's really heavy. I also have to she's got a lovingly but stubborn energy to her, by the way. She keeps pushing you forward. I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm with you. But she wants you to start taking steps forward. She's literally pushing. And I can feel her on my shoulders as well. She's trying to push you forward in getting out and breathing a bit, getting out and living again. She's going with you while you navigate through these changes. I hope that that resonates there with you. I'll keep an eye on. She stopped breathing, a cardiac arrest, July 19th. There you go. There's the July. There is something with those other 2 months. I was really in the center of my chest there with her. That's quite a bit of validation that she is here. Very stubborn, extremely. She really is pushing. Like there's this whole pushing you forward, CM, with its time. Like you. I can't change her words. You need to start breathing again. You need to start living again, and she will come with you, right? She wants to come with you while you experience. She also has me down by the water. She's got me. I can feel my feet feel wet. Um, uh, she has me down by the water. I'm sitting down by the water. Is there a water place that you go sit, or is the water connection for her? I'll leave that there with you, and I'm going to scroll up and grab a few more questions here. Okay, where was I? Tropical Empress and Spirit. Does my aunt Georgette have any messages for me? Turn up the music. And she literally she literally went, turn up the music, turn up the music. And I think that's the music in life. She's trying to bring a lot more happy, a lot more joy, a lot more loud music. Fun. Like I feel very fun. She's trying to get you into that space a lot more. Doreen 888 would love to know if my guides have a message. Super tired, but think this is a final purge. I have to nod. Yeah, absolutely. Feel like floating free, letting all go just now, and still hope this horse comes my way. I feel that you just have to kind of absolutely that love that just float and practice that. So if you can get on a floaty or float in a pool or just like or just float on your I don't want to say float in your yard, but yeah, I guess you can just lay on the grass and just kind of like allow with that going with the flow and that allowing. Another great way of allowing is if you can go for like a little tube ride or a little boat ride or canoe ride where you can just let the current take you. Absolutely, just allowing that. I'm not convinced that this horse is not coming. I still feel a big connection in that. I know choice and free will from the seller. It has a part to do with that, but I can't step away from that yet. So just trusting. I don't need to know when. I'm just going to trust. I'm just going to trust and kind of moving forward in that momentum. Um, Honey, Len, I've been at my job just over a year. It's my first career job. Am I doing enough? I feel like you are doing enough. And I feel, Connie, like I have to say to you, good job not putting a ceiling on yourself. I feel like you're staying in that learning mode. And I think that you're doing that very well. We never know it all. No matter how, we never know it all. And I think that you do a really good job in that, Connie, of allowing yourself to learn and allowing that self-improvement and allowing myself to learn more and allowing myself to be better in my career and growing forward better in my career. I think that you do very well because I don't see the water standing still. Sometimes we can, we feel like, okay, I know it all, right? And that kind of blocks us. We don't, because we truly don't know it all, right? We may be very good at what we know, but we don't truly know it all, right? And I think that you do very, very good there. Um, Spotty TY, hi Lana. So recently I met a person and I've asked before about this, but this time I want to ask if I'm doing good enough in the relationship. You guys, there's a lot of am I doing enough? I want to go at that. Not me. They want to have a go at that, right? So this is going to be for anybody who is questioning if I'm good enough or am I doing enough? Um, and I have to listen when I pause because I'm listening. Are you doing your best? If you can say yes, I'm doing my best. I'm putting in effort. I'm open to learn. I'm growing and allowing. It's enough, right? I feel that we kind of stress, we stress, am I doing enough? Am I doing enough? Am I good enough? And then when we kind of get into that loop, what happens is we forget about ourselves. We forget that I'm part of the relationship. I'm part of the career. I'm part of it, right? You're part of it too. So I feel that, and if you were to say to me, well, I'm not participating in this relationship or this career, then I think you already, and I don't feel that with you, Spotty. But I feel that you are giving it your best, and I feel like this needs time to grow. And I feel like this is a foundation building space. And I feel like I'm doing really well. And I feel like I'm learning. And I feel like I'm growing. I just, spirit, when I say spirit, I, spirit wants to just lift that worry feeling. I don't feel that you're taking this from a slacker point of view where I'm not going to do any work in this. I don't feel that at all. I feel like but I also have to honor you. And I feel like sometimes I stray away from that, Spotty TY. I feel like you kind of drift off and don't honor yourself in a relationship. A relationship is partnership, and we have to honor ourselves in that too, right? So much love to you, by the way, darling. Does spirit know what career path is best for me when I move? Kayla, you were the cutest. I don't know where to start. I don't think corporate jobs are for me. Kayla, corporate, I struggle with corporate because you know why I struggle with corporate? There's very little spirit in corporate, unless you take the angle of bringing spirit into corporate, which I have done with motivational speaking and team building. I take a spiritual approach to that. Um, I feel, Kayla, that number one, I need to get you test tasting different things. If you find a corporate job and it doesn't resonate with you, you can find something else. I feel like I've got to say test taste, right? Go in with when I move, I'm gonna find a job. It doesn't have to be my forever space, but I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try this once, twice if I like it, and run if I don't, right? So I feel like I've got to say, I'm good. And I also feel, Caleb, and this is the great thing about the career path is I feel like your career path is going to kind of weave in. It maybe have a similar theme or a similar feeling or the same career, but I feel like you do really well as with a career path that's changing, right? I feel that. I feel like, I don't feel that you're the person that likes to do wash, rinse, repeat when it comes to career. I also feel, Kayla, and just remember that I said it. I also feel you are gonna when you move, there's gonna be even a bigger lean into spirituality and the holistics. And I don't know if you're gonna take like a course on yeah, just as an example, herbalism or energy, but I feel like there's that momentum there that you're gonna test taste as well. Good for you, Kayla. Um, See where I need to go here. Been there far too often. The biggest virtual hugs for all of you. Feeling not enough. You are. And that's a big one. I literally have it tattooed on my leg. I am enough. I got that a number of years ago. And you don't have to get a tattoo to remind yourself, but it's a big thing to work on and heal that lack of that you are not enough. And when we feel that, it's an indicator of I need to spend some time with me and work on me too. We so easily and so freely give to other people that we forget about ourselves, and it has to come from you. You have to feel that yourself. It's great to feel it from other people. It feels really good to feel it from other people, but it feels even better when you feel it for yourself. And if you have to write it on a post-it note, make a screensaver, stick it on your fridge or in front of the mirror. I am enough. I'm doing my best, and my best is good enough. It's those little rants that are so healing and so therapeutic. And there are many times where it was like, okay, something didn't go well, right? I showed up, I tried my best, and it was like flop, right? Flop on my face. That didn't go well. But as I'm dusting myself off and picking myself up, I always remind myself, okay, I did my best, didn't go well, but I tried really hard, and that has to be enough, right? That has to be enough, because otherwise we get on that hamster wheel of never being enough, trying to please people, and we don't please ourselves. Self satisfaction, being satisfied with who you are, that whole loving who you are, understanding that not everything we're going to be great at, but your best is good enough. Trying is good enough, right? And it's the same thing with and I chuckle because I'm having my own moment of self-reflection where it was hard to get back up, but I tried and it didn't go well, and that's just an indicator that I'm meant to try something else. Right? And I chuckle and I do bring in the humor with that because sometimes we have to laugh it off, right? We truly do. It was my best effort. I gave it all I could. Right? All right. Um Thank you, Lana. As always, I'm very grateful for your unconditional support and love. Love you. I love you too. MK, does my brother have dementia or angry for a valid reason? Again, if you're concerned, you need to see a doctor. Um, I'm not convinced that it's a dementia. And I'm not a doctor, or anything like that. I feel that it's a very deep, unhealed situation, and I feel that when you go deeper into a situation and you withdraw from other people. So, MK, my question to you is he very very withdrawn? Because I feel like I'm withdrawn. So, and I feel like it's unhealed stuff. But of course, if you need to get a medical, opinion, that will be absolutely the route to go. But I feel like I'm processing something really, really deep, and I'm disconnecting from or disassociating. That's how it feels to me. Um, Here we go. Bubbles, as long as you try your best, you're doing enough. Absolutely. I just want to tap into that, when we're doing our best, there's always something to learn too when things don't go well. And sometimes it's about, practice and practice and practice. And things start to improve with if you're trying to improve your ability to do something, but you're showing up and doing your best is enough, right? It's enough. And not totally withdrawn. Okay, I just feel like I'm stepping back though, MK. I just feel like I'm stepping back or holding back, or I'm not as present, if that makes sense. But if there's concerns, MK, definitely get them assessed. Lana, I was wondering if my guides and ancestors have any tips to keep me moving forward with finances and life situations right now. I really feel like I is it Cheyenne? I really feel like I've got to give yourself some time too. I feel quite like my feet are running so fast that they're not on the ground. I feel like I just need to kind of like, even if it's for 5 minutes a day, I feel like I need to pause. I also feel like from your ancestors, they're coming in with a little bit of it's okay to go back to basics too, right? It's okay to slow it down. It's okay to you know, go on little mini adventures in very very simple ways. I feel like simplicity is what they're trying to kind of bring in a little bit of simplicity, more simple moments, more simple moments, whether it be watching the clouds float by or whether it just be like, listening to the birds. I feel like I've got to get you simple moments because I don't feel like you can hear yourself think, if that makes sense. All right, let us shift over to these two guys. What do we need to go here? Connie, is my daughter with me? Always with you. Always, 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 always remember that, you guys. Your loved ones are always with you and they hear you. They hear you. So, and I also don't feel that heart space energy she receives. I feel like she's like, everything's good. Everything's good. Like that's how it feels there for me. All right. 406. This is interesting. Your prayers for help with earthly support, such as food, money to pay bills, home, and so on, have been heard and answered. Give your worries to God and the angels. Holy smokes. There was a lot of people with questions about finances and, and the physical world and how do they word that? Earthly worries. I'll read that again. Your prayers for help with your prayers for help within earthly support, such as food, money to pay bills, home, and so on, have been heard and answered. Give any worries to God and the angels. Right. And whatever the word God means to you, if it's source energy, Buddha, Jesus, whatever that means to you, um, that's the space that you go to. I love that. Isn't that something? All right, spirit animals. Oh, I just noticed there's a couple crystals on the ground. As I'm looking away from the book and just allowing the energy to pull us to where we need to go, it's like, oh, it's crystals down there and a pen. Squirrel. Llama. It's been a long haul, but you're just about there, so hang in there. Volunteer some of your time by being in service to someone or by working with a service type organization. Move slowly and steady towards your goal and be assured that you're on solid footing. Grounding. That's the grounding. I love that so much. Um, sorry, I lost my space. Take time for yourself, which may require that you turn down requests from others for your time or assistance. Seek out the company of others who share similar interests and activities rather than spending so much time alone. It's only a one pager. I love that so much. So, for those of you who have been in busy mode, oh, I just got to click this. Sorry, guys. In busy mode or with all that noise going on, and I've said it a few times today, slow down, right? Slow down, listen, slow down and listen. Take time for yourself, which would require you to turn down requests from others for your time or assistance. I know I always get surprised. I don't know why I get so surprised when the channeling and the chat and the channeling and the books go together. It's just such an extremely powerful experience. Um, I'm not here tomorrow. Send some supportive love for me for the dentist tomorrow. It's not my favorite thing. That's why I'm not here. So if you can send me some good vibes, I'll be bringing my spirit guides to the dentist's office and working through that. And I'll see you guys Wednesday. And just to remind everyone, I leave for Ireland on the 16th. So there will be a live on the 15th of July, and then it's going to be very random when and if I can in Ireland. I will try and post some pictures, but there will be a gap. I'm probably going to do on the 15th. I'm probably going to do like a 2 week channeling session where I've channeled the energy for the 2 weeks so that if I don't get back on, um, at least we'll have had our time and have had the energy update and what we need to know for the upcoming 2 weeks. As I really don't, I'm going with the flow, and I'm doing some work in Ireland. Can't believe it, loving it, so excited. As always, I'm wishing you love, light, blessings, and have a spirit guided day. I'm off to do some animal communication. Take care, you guys.